Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel, and in today's video we're gonna be talking about how to choose names for a character in a fantasy story, in a fantasy comic, a fantasy name. Let's talk about this. First of all, it's my second time recording this video. First time So I have this problem. If I script my videos, I really stumble. I look sad, I look miserable, I look confused, I make a lot of errors, I say weird things and have to do several takes all the time. But if I don't script my videos, I get really distracted and I go in the avenue of an example that I didn't think through, and it ended up being really long, and then I ran out of space on my camera, of battery, of the day, of everything. Yeah, that's what happened with the previous video. I started using one of my character name as an example, and I didn't think through that his name really has a lot to do with the plot stuff, with the history of the world, with a lot of things that will take me almost my whole story to explain, so I was struggling to summarize it. And yeah, it's my explanation was 30 minutes. In this communication time, Kondra, they had access to some languages within... It's so difficult to explain. With humans, they had access to anything over the... that's so difficult. Didn't lead anywhere. We're reshooting this video, yeah, because forget that footage. It never happened. So, my second try. Let's not get distracted, let's get straight to the point. Focus, Christina. Choosing a name for your character. How do you go about doing it? First of all, if what you're concerned with the most is creating a fun sound, don't worry, that's I think the thing that you should be the least concerned about. There is other thing that you should really worry about while picking the characters' names and while creating naming and all the stuff. If you just wonder how to create the sound, try words of different languages. Try to just pick the randomly key on your keyboard and just start random word with this letter. Take the existing word and just remove some letters out of it. Take the existing word, and if you want to keep it, just change some letters in there. For example, S to Z or E to I, all of that. You can play around and create if you're wondering about the sound. It's really... nothing is the limit, you do whatever you want. I personally went about just starting off with random words of different language, and there's a problem there. I have a video when I'm basically roasting myself and telling you all the things that I don't like about my own comic, and in there I'm saying that I actually hate the fact that one of my characters is named Kuroi, because Kuroi is actually a very popular and known Japanese word at this point. It wasn't when I was making it up, at least in my area, in Yekaterinburg, Russia. It was not anything mainstream at all, so I thought I was crazy original, and it just happened that this word just gained popularity like all the Japanese colors. What do we have? We have Kuroi, Shiroi, Akai. Basically, Kuroi for some reason is the most popular because I think there's several animes that has the name Kuroi in it. Darker Than Black, I think. But for example, for Tsekai, for my other main character, I picked the Japanese word that I think means the world, Sekai. I just took the word and I took just the English spelling for it, and I changed the letter S for Z and K to KH to make it look and sound a little bit different, so it's I was inspired by the sound of Japanese word, but ultimately didn't want to use it, so I just played around with it, so the feeling of the sound remains, but it's no longer this exact word. I should have done it with Kuroi, but never mind. But basically, if you're just concerned about the sound, there's so many ways how to do it, how to come up with it, how to make it up. I just gave you some couple examples. It's pretty easy, go have fun, seriously, it's amazing, it's fun. But where the serious things are is integrating this word in the world of your story. And that's what this video is about. It's not that easy, actually. This is where a lot of work is, and I believe you absolutely must integrate it into the world of your story, hardcore, rooted deep there. This is how names are. Every name that person has, except maybe, I don't know, some celebrity kid's name, aside from these, everybody's name is rooted deeply in the history of our world, in many cultures, many languages, how those names transfer and all of that. For example, my name is Christina. Christina. It's a Greek name, it's originated in Greece. It means follower of Christ. So in order for me, for example, to explain my name to someone who just come into this world, our world, I have to explain what Greece is, what Christianity is, how I'm in Russia, and my name is not a Russian word, but Greece word with Christian stuff, and how come I'm not Christian, you know, even though my names are just I am. So it's like I have to explain a whole plus of culture, whys, hows, and all the caveats and all the things. So this is how the name of your character should belong to the world of your story. Deeply, deeply rooted. You cannot just take it out of context, and when it's placed in the world, it should make perfect sense. And how do you blend the name of the character in with the world of your story? Well, you do it just as you would do a world building. You do it by asking questions, and questions like why? Why and for what purpose? And answering those questions, you're gonna start digging deeper and deeper and deeper in the story of your world. For example, ask why do they name their children in this world? What is the purpose of the name? How many names do they have? Is the name a private thing or is it a public thing? How do people recognize itself in this world? Is it by name or is it by something else? Do they even pronounce certain letters? I would say think about your character's name as one of many names like this. For example, think about it being example of a group of names that mean something. It will help you to enrich your world building. Just if you say, oh, this is the whole concept of how naming is existing in my world, like in my fantasy world, it will make your world look one-dimensional. You want to make it rich. You want to implement there is many cultures, and cultures blend with each other, and different cultures have different traditions, and different traditions are based on different beliefs and different ideas and all of that. So when you think of the name of your character, if you have a sound, think about, okay, what group they can belong to, and like put a list and create several names or like that they'll sound alike. For example, that might be, you know, like from this kind of group of names, and start asking questions. Do girls and boys are able to have the same name? Do names repeat themselves, or they just every name is absolutely unique? How many names do people have? Do they have just 2? Do they have 3? Do they have 15? For example, North America, most people have 2. In my culture in Russia, we have 3. I have my first name Christina, my last name Zahajai, and my third name would be a patronym as my father's name that is implemented as my third name. So my father is Dmitry, I'm Dmitrievna. I have 3 names. How many names would your character have? What are the rules that apply to this group of names? And then when you have this group of names, you can think, well, where this group applies. Is it just belongs to the culture? Does it belong to territory? Does it belong to religion? What it belongs to? And start thinking there. Start thinking when you decide what this group belongs to, like what people use this naming convention, then you might think like, when did it start? Like, how old is this tradition? Is it new, or is this like thousands of years old? How many people actually use this? Maybe it's, if your character has this name and this tradition is very religious and very old, it would mean that his family is very, very conservative and actually try to maybe extra hard to preserve their culture, and maybe there is like a whole extra story going on. That's kind of what I mean, how you can think about it. When you're creating this group of how you can group your names, and you also will already have multiple names that will be just like your character name. So when reader is encountering other characters that have the same naming, without you actually telling things about the world, your reader would start understanding some parts of world building. So just by giving a name and just by having a structure behind this name, just by mentioning one name, you can give your reader a whole plus of the history of your fantasy world. I think that's awesome. So I think it's a great tool with which you can do it. So this is how I would suggest you think about it. So, and then when you create this one naming convention, you can go ahead and create another one. You can create another culture where they use names completely different. Or for example, if you have a name that is really from our world, like Josh, you can still use it if you make sense, if you make it really work. I think what you shouldn't do, however, is just give the word and give no explanation. You can say, oh, my fantasy world is a little bit like Middle Ages, so I just gonna keep the old Middle Ages name. I would suggest don't do it. Middle Ages is very insane, intense cultural situation situation. There's a lot of stuff going on culturally. Just think about the name as a part of world building and make it really rooted and make it really make sense. Technically, the name of your character has a great potential to tell your reader already about the family of your character, about their parents, about their region, about their religion, about their culture. There is so much packed in one name. So I would suggest you just use it as a starting point to create more world building. Make it part of your world, make it have history, make it fit by the sound, make it fit by the logic, make it fit by the culture, history, and once it does, you don't have even to work hard about how to show your culture to the world. You can just go around and introduce characters to your reader, and your reader will start noticing the patterns that you were working on. So I think it's overall a fun activity, and yeah, take it very seriously, but have a lot of fun. So I hope this video was helpful, even though I was rambling and giving you guys ideas of how you can approach the thing. Let me know in the comments below if you have your own naming process, how you came up with names for your characters. And yes, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I see you in another video. Thank you so much, guys.